Alright, what's going on, good people? It's your boy 3 Stacks on this thing, baby. I had to today get my redemption due to me basically just lucking out at a YCS Fort Worth and going to X3 and not making it to day 2. I wanted to have one last run with my list, knowing that the ban list affected my deck probably more than any of my other decks. But today I took my I want to call it 60 card Pendulum Gasoline. That's what I really just want to call it, Pendulum Gasoline. Because this is all gas. This deck is really insane. This is like an upgrade from the Nationals list that you guys saw, and an upgrade for every list that you've seen. Because I've changed this deck like over 40 times since then. But I'll go ahead and hop into the main deck. I'll explain my choices as we go along. I did make top 8, but it was just some really unfortunate stuff that happened to me in the match that I lost today. But we'll get there when we get there. So we'll start off with the main deck.
And that's like what, 60?
Yeah, it's 60 always. So starting off with my Zephyrs, I play one copy of my Anger Translator. This card is never a brick. It's universally, it's like, I can use the terminology of, it's like Wisdom Eye. It's always live, it's a high scale or it's a low scale. Load your extra deck, let you put more bodies on field. It's actually really good going second against Sky Strikers and Salmon Grades, because you could send Dubin or you could send Zephyr Saiton and you just start popping cards on Pendulum Summon, and you could chain block. Like, that really helps when you can chain block, because like when you're playing against certain cards that just negate, hardcore negate, like Vortex, like directly interacts with the card, you can summon like Harmonizing, Zephyr Nui, Zephyr Saiton, Chain Link 3, they can't negate anything else, everything else was always like, you could do stuff like that. So he just sets you up for the game. I play one Zephyr Neo, Big Booty. This is the lifeblood of the deck. This deck can generate a lot of advantage off of 1 or 2 cards. One Zephyr Providence with just any other scale is like insane. It's actually really, really good. And Providence plus Servant is just nice. Like seriously, it's like 3 interruptions off 2 cards. I played one Zephyr Saiton. He pops any set, so he's good in the Guru matchup. He can be good in other matchups as well, but he pops any set. And then Zephyr Thubin pops any face up. So these cards are actually way better going second than they are going first. And having these allows me to have spot removal. What I did was I applied spot removal in every form of my engines. So the Mythical Beast has spot removal, the Orcust has spot removal, the Zephyrs has spot removal, and also the Magician engine has spot removal, because you have like Dubin, Saiton for your Zephyr engine. Orcust are good at breaking boards by themselves. Dragon Pit allows you to pop back rows like there can only be one, as well as Purple Poison. And you know, it's a lot of utility, and Service is really insane. Like Master Service was like godly today. Like he put in work. Like I was pulling off OTKs with no board, so just Service, special off Jackal King, resolve Servant, summon another Service, banish, attack, just go in. Like it was nuts. And just baiting counters for no reason against Salad. Like it's just really, really nice. So the 4 Zephyrs, it would be more, but it's 60 cards, and you gotta make room for a lot. And I technically play like, I want to say 13 actual copies of every one of these because of how many cards they could search on. Next up for the Magicians, I played one Pit. So just by playing him, even though some people can be on the fence about this card, this means that you have 7 main deck outs. So there can only be 1 to Floodgates like Rivalry, Goals and Match, Summon Limit, other cards like that. Any kind of Floodgate you can think of. You now, it's like your main decking, side deck cards. So you don't automatically just lose game 1s that you normally would, because you're not playing the utility cards. So that's why I like cards like this. I like Pit, and I like that I have multiple engines that all have spot removal to out problems. So I really like this because Pin Call can just out there can only one in the Striker matchup, which really helps. And when you're playing against pure Orcust and they set up Bomber, you can just pop their Babel so they can't just summon on Bomber Zone whenever they want to just nuke your board. And I played one Dragon Caller so that if you couldn't see Dragon Worm consistently, it was like the Duelist Alliance and the Pin Call could essentially get you the Guard Dragon combo if you just had the resources. It can be convoluted, sometimes you don't get there, but if you're there, you're there, honestly. And all you just need is just pretty much, if you have him, you just need to Pendulum Summon monsters. One of them has to be level 4 or lower, that's how you make OP, and that's the combo. It's that simple. And then one copy of Harmonizing. I really just played one because the engine is so compact. Like, it's really, really small. Like, all the engines in this deck are really small, very compact, finite resources, they burn out really quick, but it's just all for this crazy indestructible board at the end of it, and your follow-ups and contingencies really come from the Orcust. That's where your grind happens. But one of each of them, you know, you're just really, Harmonizing I still think is a great card, because Blind Dweller is one of the best things you could ever do. If you don't know what you're playing, you're into the board, if I have the choice between Borlo, Savage, and Dweller, I'm picking Dweller just every single time. Even if I don't know what I'm playing, just because Dweller covers way more ground. And then next up for the Endymions, I played 3 Servant, and this is a new addition to my deck, Magister. This card is, whoo! That boy's the truth, bro. That boy is the truth. Like, he is the truth. Like, seriously, he's really, really good. You can play around Ogres, you can play around Typhoons, It's just really, really good. Like, this card is insane. And anytime you have a board full of negates and he's just there, it's almost like that looming threat thing that I'm talking about. Like, where literally, okay, you're like, okay, there's a negate here, negate there. People don't read cards half the time. They read his scale and they forget. Like, on field, he could just summon Endymion or Jackal King or Service on your turn whenever I want to. Just drop them like they're hotcakes. And it's a quick effect, so you just, like, extra negates. The card is really insane. And I played just one Endymion. It was originally going to be 2, but I feel like this was better, more flexible than 2 Endymion. And whenever I lose access to him, this could bring him back from the extra deck. So it was working out fine for me. And then for more cards that pretty much just started up for you so that you can get Electrum before you pin them, is 3 copies of Chronograph Sorcerer. I play this because it's not just for the body, but at the same time, it's a high skill that allows me to pin summon out my like Orcust Nightmare and also my Endymion. So it's actually a really good card. And then 3 service, man put in the most work out of every card in my deck. Man put in the most work.
MVP.
I'm talking about, yeah, Banish Dingirsu. I Lava Golem, I played this Dinosaur Guard Dragon Orcust deck. He opened nuts. Like, he opened really dope. But he didn't leave Dingirsu on his field, so I just summoned this guy. I attacked over Apollusu at 24, and then main phase 2, I started loading him with counters and started baiting the gates. Then summoned another one off of Servant, and then banished the Dingirsu. And yeah, paid half of the Strudo, so I just attacked with just a Service for 54, and it was game. Like, this boy's the truth, I'm telling you. And we all know, like, Service and Chronograph is another way to play around hand traps. And then 2 copies of Jackal King. He good, he alright, but really Cerberus was the man today. Like, he was overperforming.
So the Cerberus spells and trap? Or?
Cerberus, he can banish any monster. And they collect spell counters faster than the Endymion cards, so it's really good because it's like a little library. It's like a pool of resources that you can just tap into, and it's kind of like you're just cashing in and you'll get your deposit later, you know, or you're putting in deposit, you withdraw for it later. So like these cards are also good for these because these can remove from your field, and they also let you load really fast. This is how you resolve Endymion scale effect. You just load counters on this guy. You'll get two counters for each spell, and you just resolve him, nuke the board. I only pulled it off once today, but I did it when I already didn't have to. I just wanted to do it just being flashy, I guess. And then I played 2 copies of Dark Worm. Honestly, I don't really think that you need 3. You have a lot of cards to access it. And then you also have Dragon Caller, so it's just like, more or less, it was, originally this was 3, but then I cut this, I cut a purple, I cut a Harmonize, and I put it into the Voids, and then Wrath. And then I played 1 copy of Gate 0. And then this is the new addition to my deck, is the Amorphages. Okay, I really will say that, like, 6 out of my 8 wins legitimately were for the Amorphage lock alone. It's like I got like Impermanence Veiler, and then I just locked my opponent out of spells. Conveniently, he was playing Sky Strikers. Wow. So I was like, no extra deck, because you know what I did? What I've been doing too to play around Nibiru, other methods was I would hold Servant, I wouldn't resolve Servant, I Pendulum Summon first, I still haven't activated Servant, and I wouldn't even make Electrum before I Pendulum Summon. I Pendulum Summon first, then I make Electrum, then I'd resolve Servant, then I'd do the Guard Dragon combo. I did everything backwards. So if they had a Nibiru, I just vomit out 5 monsters on the board anyways, and I'm playing Orcust. So I kind of just wanted to get it out their hand and just let them resolve it. And you can also do the Guard Dragon combo before you Pendulum Summon. So this was pretty much like this is what I was doing for Thunders. This card is actually way better because it doesn't just stop your board from being Spear Molded or Lava Golems. It stops Kaijus, it stops Pankratops, it stops Ray. You can't even tribute monsters to summon Colossus. This card is actually really, really good. It says neither player can tribute monsters except the Morphages. So there's no raid tag outs, there's none of that, bro. Like, there's no way getting out the lock. And if you don't play Super Poly and you play Spear Molds and Lavas, like, this counters that. If you play Super Poly, this counters that. Like, they're just really, really strong, and you protect them with Dingirsu.
Remind me what the red one says?
This is the best one. It says neither player, if you control a Morphage, neither player can play spells unless they're Morphage spells. Okay. Nobody's playing Morphages. You just summon, you scale this, you summon this off of the Heretic, and then you have Dingirsu and your negates.
So no spells,
exactly. No spells, no extra deck. And you don't negate anything unless it's trying to break your lock. Okay. So if they activate any other cards, you don't negate them. Because the point is, they're locked out of the game, they're trying to bait you to use your negate so that they can break your lock. You don't negate anything if it doesn't harm you. So if it's not breaking the lock, that's fine. It can resolve. Like Area 0, all that's fine. So yeah, the Morphages, these cards are nuts. Like, seriously, even against slower decks like Sound Migrates and Strikers, keeping these in the main deck is actually really good. And I played one of each Orcust. These are my Called by the Graves. Whenever you get hand trapped too many times, this is your contingency. It's a very fluent follow-up. It gives the deck a higher ceiling and a grind that it never had because it's a very resilient engine. It's very durable. And just the crescendo and what you attach off of Dingirsu are 2 follow-ups. If you didn't use the Strudel, that's 3. If you didn't use Chronograph, that's 4. You can set yourself up for a Broadsword while you're putting out 5 negates and setting up for Broadsword for next turn. You do that. And then I played 1 copy of the Strudel. So that's it for the monsters. And then the spells is just all gas. I played 3 copies of Mastery, probably the best spell in the deck. And And then 3 Providence. The next best spell in the deck, it searches any Zephyr card. The Zephyr cards are the best cards, so I feel like I'd rather have a Providence than a Pendulum Call any day because Zephyrs just get me farther than the Magicians can. It's truth. And they also, Pendulum Summoning Zephyr Neo, people forget like this deck plays on Nibiru a lot better because you not only have the Orcust combo, but when you Pendulum Summon Zephyr Neo, you search the counter trap. So there's no way that you're not ending with negates, even if they Nibiru you and double hand trap you. Like they'd have to hand trap every card you summon, like Harmonizing and Nibiru, and Zephyr Neo, and hand trap Electromite, and then Nibiru you. They have to open like 4 hand traps. Then we played 3 copies of Pendulum Call. This is also an out, so like I said, there can only be one, and it's a very popular card in today's format. So you play 6 of these, you maximize on them, not just to see your engine, but when you go second, it's game 1, you can't be like, oh, I need my Twin Twister, I need my Reboot. Like, it's game time. Like, you have to have it now. So I like that I had the main deck outs. Like, whatever my deck was weak against, I main deck the cards that give it that resiliency for the matchup. And then we have 3 Dragon Shrines, 3 Allure of Darkness. I was playing 3 Into the Voids, but it was one of the easiest cards to cut, so I just cut it down to 2 because it's in limbo. It's filler. It's not really there. And then I played 2 copies of Oracle. Not 3, just 2. It's just space issues to make space for their Morphage lock. And then 1 Dragon's Ravine. 1 Foolish, 1 Terraforming. Set Rotation's godly. You open Set Rotation, you don't have to put on Endymion because they can't have permanents because they control a card now. It's really nice. And then 1 of each counter trap because we're never losing to Dark Ruler. And we're not losing to Spirit Mode. We're not. No way. So that's the main deck. But yeah, the lock is insane. Like, I'm kind of sad about the Mermaid thing. Because the Morphage lock really just auto-wins. Like, if you play Thunder, you just put Wrath and Scale. They can't tribute monsters. There is no summoning Colossus for free. You have to activate one of those Thunder Dragon fusions, get it negated, and pass turn. Then for extra deck, we have Electromite, the Heretic Seal, we have Agripane, LP, we have Galatea, Mongirsu, Triple Burst, War Sword. Phoenix was the Link 2 of choice. It could have been Service, but I just needed that Phoenix. It's 2 in the set, 5 pass, Floodgates. Then we have Mermaid, and then I played the Savage, Starlight. This is for time. And then we also have Dingirsu, Dweller, because Blind Dweller's the way, it's the way. And then 1 copy of Vortex. Even when you're going second, you don't use Agripane to summon Borreload. You don't do that, or Boral Sword. Yeah. You just legit summon the Vortex, you spin something, take this, and any other monster and make Boral Sword anyways. It's way easier to OTK that way. So that's the extra deck, and then the side deck. I said it triple Denko, and Denko's actually the truth. Like, so like you wouldn't expect to side Denko Sekka against Cyber Dragon Orcust, right? Nobody really think, oh no, Denko Sekka's not good. It cuts off Overflow, it cuts off Babel, it cuts off their set called by the Grey's End Permanences. This card, I don't know what I'm playing, I blind Denko as well. Denko's insane against Orcust, against Salmagrage. It's good against everything, even Thunder. Like, Thunder still says back row. I just feel like it's the most universal, generically applicable side deck card. It's really, really good. And this deck doesn't need its normal summon, so you can get away with it. And then 3 Evenlies. When you don't know what you're playing against, you sometimes have to do this. And then this is for my worst matchup for Thunder. Really just for Thunder. If I played any other deck like that it was good against, I would, but I really only allocated these slots in case I ran into Thunder. And then 2 Lava Golems, again for Thunder, because they'll play around Spear Mode by putting up 2 Colossus. And then we have 2 copies of Joel and Lockbird. This is for the mirror match if I play against my deck. And then I also played 2 copies of Red Reboot. Even against Thunder, you want to side it because they'll try to eradicate you, and if you don't have the Reboot, you kind of just lose. So overall, I like the deck. It has to go through a lot of changes, though, because of the ban list. But I'm really happy that I got to get my final top with the list before, the ban list is in effect. But thank you guys for watching the deck profile. I appreciate it. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Peace.